Mwendwa. I'm the project lead for Kariobangi guys, and welcome. I show you the Kariobangi guys. So as you can see, this is part of our preparedness for COVID-19. We have a bucket of water, running water, together with the receiving basin and some washing soap. And what are we saying? Your hands carry germs every other time, and you cannot see, so just wash your hands every other time. We are encouraging our clients to wash their hands as they enter and leave the DIC. So these are some of the COVID-19 messages that we put in place just to let our clients know. And here she records everyone who comes to the DIC for whichever service. And of course, there's some condom demonstration and distribution. To our next rooms, please. Yeah, so this is where our clients get seated as they are waiting service provision. And as you can see, one of the measures for COVID-19 is keeping distance. So we try to put them coming apart for keeping distance purposes. And now, this is our child room. We have our nurse, Mary, attending to our client. So here, weight, height, everything is done from here. Okay. Our data room, where our clients' information is kept safely with a lot of security measures, our file cabinet, and here is Viola Sitene, our HRIU, data manager person. So she's Ruth Kinyaru, the advocacy officer. Takes care of all the gender-based violence issues that come into place. Yeah, so our clinical room, where our clinical officer sits, and as you can see, also there is the distance. And so here, we said we have a CCC in place, so all our ART drugs are kept here. So, and all our HIV positive clients get their drugs from this place. So this is our safe space. Our clients come, relax, watch TV, watch movies, listen to music, have fun, and then even do makeups as they go to their various hotspots to undertake them. I am Rona Mwendwa. I work for Bauste's Empowerment and Support Program as the project lead for Kariobangi guys. And in Kariobangi, we are about meeting targets and maintaining epidemic control, which is the EPIC project. We're trying to meet the 95% unit goal, which is all about looking out for those HIV positive clients who do not know their status, so that 95% get to know their HIV status. And from those that have gotten to know their status, we get to enroll or give treatment to 95% of them, and also ensure that 95% of those that are on treatment are virally suppressed. So in Kariobangi, we offer several services, being the structural interventions for our sex workers. Bauses works with female sex workers. So we offer both the structural, the clinical, and even the behavioral interventions. So for behavioral interventions, we're working with 77 peer educators or peer leads to the peers that we want to reach to. We offer education to our peers, including how to have low risk sex, and I mean intention to low risk using condoms and lubricants, and even showing them or demonstrating how to use condoms, both the male and the female condoms, including offering the health education on how to minimize the risks of exposure to HIV and AIDS. For the clinical interventions, so we have a clinical team consisting of a clinical officer, a nurse, and HTS providers who offer several services to our clients. So for the HTS persons, they offer HIV testing services to our clients. So of course, which involves a bit of counseling for the clients before and after testing. And even for the PL-HIVs or people who are living with HIV, there's a lot of counseling for them on how to adhere to their medication and to maintain their viral loads suppressed all the time. So for the nurse, she's there to do triage, do blood pressures, weight, height, and even temperatures for the clients before they get to the clinical room, where the clinician does the consultation and screens our clients for both family planning, also cervical cancer screening, risk reduction, counseling, alcohol and drug abuse, screening, offers PrEP services, FEP services for those that are exposed to HIV, and then if anything, does referrals for them that need. In the clinical room also, we've set out an ART corner that our clients receive ART medication from. So as Kariobangi does, we say we are a CCC center because we realized when we test clients and send them to the public facilities for ART, most of them do not get to the facilities and they do not get enrolled into care. And so for us to achieve the second 95% of the UNAIDS goal, we realized it was important for us to have a CCC in place in these guides. So we test our clients and enroll them into care and treatment in our facility, and even take samples for viral load testing, of which we have a rider in place who comes, picks the samples, takes them to Cambridge, and within a turnaround time of 10 days, the results are back.
So maybe just go a little bit and define the CCC to somebody who doesn't understand this.
So a CCC is a comprehensive care center for people who are living with HIV to come and pick drugs from, and even their samples for viral loads be taken from. Yeah, so that they are sent to the relative lab facilities for testing.
So for somebody who does not understand or who does not picture your clinic, maybe in comparison to maybe where we normally go for their usual clinic, how can you describe your clinic as in terms of when you enter, there is a reception, there is which room, and if you can maybe tell us in details, describe being a blind person now, what is in your center?
So first things first, I would want to say our clinic, or rather our DIC, is a stigma-free and discrimination-free DIC, or rather clinic. And so here we do not stigmatize or rather discriminate anyone, and especially for the key populations we are dealing with, the female sex workers. And so when you, at the entrance of our clinic is a reception. There you get our office assistant who registers you, and this is done to everyone who comes to the DIC for services. both be it biomedical, structural, or even behavioral. So when you get to the reception, of course, someone is there to receive you and register you, and even offer some of the information, including condom demonstration and distribution. So, and they will direct you to the relevant room where, for the service that you came for, you can be attended to. So, from there you will get to the HTS room. So, if you had come for either of the services, besides if you had come just to the safe space to have fun, if you had come to the safe space to have fun, you will be directed to the safe space, which is behind the registration office. And if not, you will first be taken to the HTS room, where if you're HIV positive client, you'll be cancelled for taking you proper medication and even adherence, and the importance of having your viral load suppressed, which I said, and for the fact that if you're virally suppressed, then the chances of transmitting the virus to someone else are actually not there, or very low. What we call U is equals to U. Yeah. So we are saying, if you're HIV negative and 3 months are passed, you hadn't been tested again, so there's the repeat test as per the national guidelines for the key populations. So you're cancelled and tested for HIV. So now, if your results are HIV positive, now the HTS provider escorts you to the clinician for retest test and enrollment into care and treatment. Yeah. So if the results are negative and you had come for more services, then you're sent to the triage room, which is the next room. You get a nurse there who does triage. When we talk of triage, it's now about your personal well-being. What about your weight? What about your eyes? What about your temperatures? And especially now that we are in the COVID-19 pandemic, when we're saying it's good you get screened for some of these symptoms for COVID-19. Yeah, so the nurse does that for us. And manages some of the symptoms within that office, and refers you further to the clinical room, where we have the clinical officer who now is able to do the rest of the management for the client. You realize it's kind of in a hidden place where the sex workers comfortably come and can also go out of the place without having to feel some discomfort. Yeah, if anything, if it was in an open place. And so the only challenges we are facing, and especially now in this COVID-19 pandemic, is the fact that most of our clients are not keeping their dates for refills for drugs because of the fact that transport has really hiked, and so you realize clients are not coming as expected. And another thing, for project, we got targets to achieve for various indicators, including HIV testing, and so because of the limited clientele currently, so it's a challenge for us to offer the services, the HTS, the PrEP. Yeah. So currently the numbers are too low. Yeah. We've also realized the people that are supposed to be taken for the viral loads, we're not keeping, in touch with them. They are not coming for that due to the fact that when the last 2 weeks, where the lab where the tests are done, that is Cambridge, was closed for a while. And so even when it's open, it's just the aides or the exposed infants and those with hyperemia, and the pregnant mothers who are HIV positive, we are expected to send samples for, and we've realized we're missing out a bit of the clients who are not showing up clinical symptoms or do not have hyperemia, and yet they need to be done for the viral loads. We've faced a lot of gender-based violence issues with the fact that most of the hotspots for our clients, or where they undertake their work from, the bars, the lodgings are closed, and so our sex workers are doing their job in enclosed dens or even at their homes, and so they are facing a lot of gender-based violences in those particular enclosed places. So as in the dice, we still need more posters and tablets to consistently remind our clients of the measures they need to take during this pandemic to be able to control themselves from the COVID-19 disease. So as the clinical team, we also need the face masks, the surgical face masks for ourselves, to actually cover ourselves during the day when we are attending to our clients. Of course, usually and initially, this is something that we didn't have to do, and so it's actually adding up to the expenses that we need to take. And so, having one of the symptoms of COVID-19 being fever, as a DIC, we really need a thermogun for us to be screening every client for fever symptoms. So, we're requesting really to have at least 2 thermoguns in the site to be doing that. And the fact that it's now Kenyan government mandatory for every person to have a mask on during the day while traveling or anything. So our clients are really insisting for a mask, and as a DIC, we are putting into it that everyone with a cough symptom, sneezing, or running nose is getting a mask from us. And so it is really difficult amongst 10 clients we're just giving 2. And so for us to be able to service everyone with a mask, we're really requesting this. So currently with the Kenyan government having told everyone to have face masks, we need more masks, not just for the clients that are having COVID-19 symptoms, but even for every other client who is coming for the rest of the services in this DIC.